So you are thinking about moving to St. Augustine. Here's what Zillow won't tell you. Hey there, if you're thinking about moving to St. Augustine, Florida, or you're just Zillow scrolling and dreaming of warmer weather, this video is your insider's guide because let's be honest, Zillow doesn't tell you everything. It doesn't show you the real neighborhoods, what your taxes will actually be, or whether you can use that cute cottage as a short-term rental. I live here, I work here in real estate, and I've helped tons of people make the move successfully. So if you're serious about St. Augustine, this is what you really need to know. Let's get into it. St. Augustine is stunning. Beautiful beaches, the historic downtown, the intercoastal waterway, the ancient oaks lining the streets. It's like living in a postcard. But it's also a real place to live, not just a place to visit, and life here has a rhythm. You want a morning surf session and a sunset at the river? You can do that. Prefer wine bars, art walks, and local music downtown? That's here too. Step just outside the historic core and you'll find planned communities, golf neighborhoods, acreage properties, and quiet suburban streets. So there's something for every lifestyle. I know it sounds amazing, and it is, but we are a real place with all of the issues other busy cities have, such as traffic congestion. Some would say overdevelopment. I don't necessarily disagree. So let's talk real estate because I know a lot of you are house hunting online. Zillow can show you pictures and prices, but here's what it won't show you. What the area around the home actually looks like and feels like, how far it is from the things you want to access like shopping or the beach, and if looking for an investment property, it's not going to share the rental restrictions with you. And the last one is a big deal. A lot of people come here looking to buy a second home they can rent out part of the year to offset costs. Totally smart, but zoning varies a lot across St. Augustine. Some areas allow short-term rentals, some require minimum rental periods, and others ban them altogether. And no, Zillow does not tell you that. So before you get attached to a home that seems like a perfect Airbnb investment, double check the zoning, or better yet, talk to someone who knows the local rules. Not long ago, I spoke with someone wanting to move here for work in law enforcement. We had a great call. I spoke with him for a good hour answering his questions. He's never been here, so he needed help figuring out what areas he should be looking at based on his search criteria, lifestyle, and family needs. The plan was to meet upon his arrival so I can give him a customized map made especially for him to tour. Instead, he decided to explore on his own. Unfortunately, he ended up driving through neighborhoods that didn't fit what he wanted at all, close to the downtown area, which he didn't care for the vibe. What he really needed was a map of some of the suburban communities near good schools, which is what I would have shared with him. Moral of the story, local guidance matters. Whether it's a self-guided tour I help you plan or in person, the goal is to make sure you're spending your time looking in places that fit your life, not just what looks cute online. Here's another common Zillow trap. Property taxes. In St. Johns County, tax rates generally fall between 1.2% and 1.9% depending on where you're buying. But sites like Zillow only show what the current owner is paying, and that number can be way off from what you will pay. I've had buyers say, oh wow, the taxes are only $2,000. That's perfect. But what they don't realize is that seller may have bought that home 20 years ago for $150,000 and they've had a homestead exemption ever since. Now you come in, buy the home for $500,000, and guess what? Your property taxes gets reassessed the following January. The tax bill could jump to $6,000 or more, double or triple what you saw online. I had one client ask why one home had taxes of $2,500 and the neighbor's home showed $6,200. After digging into it, I found out that the lower tax home was homesteaded and the other one wasn't. That's a huge difference. If Florida is your primary residence, filing for homestead exemption can knock up to $50,000 off of your taxable assessment and limit your annual tax increase to just 3%. That adds up to serious savings over time. And here's a tip. The St. Johns County Property Appraiser website has a tax estimator tool where you can plug in a home's purchase price or current market value and get a better idea of what your taxes will look like based on your situation, not the seller's. Another issue when looking at homes is flood zones. Downtown and beachside areas can fall into high-risk zones like AE, where lenders usually require flood insurance. Other places, especially newer communities built on higher ground, are in a flood zone X, where insurance premiums will be lower. But here's what Zillow won't show you. A new community is built on elevated land, brand new development, but the FEMA maps haven't been updated yet. So Zillow might show this community as high risk, even though it's not. Again, this is where working with someone local helps. And yes, flood insurance in lower risk zones can be affordable, sometimes under $1,000 a year. But it's smart to talk to a local insurance agent early, especially if you're buying an older home or something near the water. Homeowners insurance across Florida has gone up in recent years, especially for homes with older roofs or outdated systems. So before you fall in love with a house, get a real quote on insurance. When it comes to schools, Zillow will share the school zone for the property you're searching for. But what it doesn't tell you is that you can live in one district and take your kids to a different district. Parents can fill out an application for each school they would like their children to attend during the application window. Assignments will be made through a random lottery system if capacity is available within the applicable grade. On another note, there is also a scholarship program that gives Florida students a choice for their education. And if you'd like to learn more about that, shoot me an email to kim@kimdevlinteam.com and I will send you more information. Now let's talk about healthcare, because Zillow definitely doesn't share much on that aspect. Healthcare is expanding fast in the county. We've long had Flagler Health Plus, Baptist South, and Mayo Clinic up in Jacksonville, but now Advent Health is building their very first hospital right here in St. Johns County. This is all great news, but to be honest, the county has been behind on healthcare, and finding a good doctor can be difficult due to wait lists. So it's very important to think about what you may need medically and how close you need your doctor to be before choosing a location to relocate to. Lastly, and this is important, Zillow will tell you if a neighborhood is walkable or bikeable. But let's be clear, St. Augustine is not a city in the way most people imagine. You'll need a car. Yes, you can walk in the city district, but if you're commuting, shopping, or getting kids to school, driving is essential. We don't have a commuter rail or robust public transit system. We have some bus services, but nothing like you would expect in a major city. So keep that in mind when choosing your location. So, should you move to St. Augustine? If you're looking for coastal charm, great schools, a relaxed pace of life, and real character, then St. Augustine might be your perfect match. Just remember, each part of town has its own feel. Downtown is walkable and historic. The beach is laid back. West of I-95 has space schools and lots of new development. Knowing the difference will help you choose the right fit. And that's where I come in. So if you're thinking about moving here or even just exploring the idea, reach out. I'd love to help you plan a visit, explore different areas, and make sense of what fits your lifestyle. Be sure to watch this next video where I break down St. Augustine's Anastasia Island. Whether you're a family, a retiree, or an investor, definitely watch it. And grab your St. Augustine relocation guide linked in the description below. It's packed with lots of information to get your research started and more of what Zillow doesn't show you. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one.